In 2001, Michelle's family moved to Maidstone from Shaunavon. A decision had to be made: work as an EMT paramedic or work as an educational assistant. In Shaunavon, Michelle worked as a paramedic from 4 p.m. to 4 a.m., and by day she was an EA at the Shaunavon High School. Her family voted and they chose educational assistant. In August 2001, she was hired at J.H. Moore Elementary in Lashburn, working with the grade 1 class. Michelle worked at J.H. Moore for 5 months and then off to Maidstone High in January 2002 as an EA and later a library technician. Incorporating her first-hand paramedic experience and the senseless injuries she witnessed suffered by young people, one of her proudest accomplishments was initiating the PARTY program, Prevent Alcohol and Risk-Related Trauma in Youth, at Maidstone High. Her last few years at MHS have been incredible, sharing her love of art and drama and seeing the students soar. Michelle has had so many wonderful experiences and friendships with her coworkers and students. She has thoroughly enjoyed sharing her passions with the staff and students at Maidstone High.
My lovey has been a library technician and a part of the NWSD team for nearly 21 years. If you were lucky enough to attend MCHS or be a part of the staff while working with my lovey, you know what a force she is. Countless hours of volunteering, coaching, basketball, running the SAD chapter, book clubs, EF travel club, or running a junior-senior baking group. She is so much more than an employee. She is what makes Maidstone High School such a great place to be.
Happy retirement, Mom. We love you so much.
Happy retirement, honey. Enjoy all your days snuggling Scarlett.
And have all the hot tub margaritas you can have. We love you.
Love you.
Love you.
Joanne was born and raised in Turtleford and attended Turtleford School. She enrolled in the Early Childhood Development Program in the spring of 1990, obtaining her diploma. She did practicums at Turtleford and Livelong School, and following her practicum at Livelong School, Joanne was hired to work with a student in grade 6. Joanne ran a preschool in Turtleford from 1991 to January of 2004, when she was invited to move to Turtleford School, where she would share the classroom with the newly formed pre-K program. In 2009, she took on the job of pre-K assistant, while still continuing to run her preschool 2 afternoons a week. Joanne loves this age. She loves being the students' first teacher, helping them build skills to ready them for kindergarten in a fun and creative environment. In retirement, Joanne looks forward to a more flexible schedule to help out on her farm and hopefully do some traveling. She will miss the kids and working in Turtleford School, which has been a huge part of her life.
Over the last 30 years, Joanne has touched the lives of so many young children. She develops a strong connection with each child and is the most patient and genuine person I've ever met. Joanne approaches life with positivity and kindness, and we're going to miss her beautiful smile. We wish you the best retirement, full of skiing and kayaking and many more outdoor adventures. Joanne, aka Mr. Batman, here's to you.
Marika grew up on a farm in small-town Tegasky, Saskatchewan. After high school, Marika attended the University of Saskatchewan, where she completed her Bachelor of Education degree. Marika started her career at Carpenter High School in August of 1988. She spent her first years teaching grade 12 ELA and grade 10 physical education. In 1990, she married Kim Chiverton, also a teacher of Northwest School Division. They have 3 children: Leighton, an educator at Jonah Sampson Middle School, Kea, an educator at Sylvia Fedoric School, and Ainsley, a second-year law student at the University of Saskatchewan. Marika's most memorable moments of teaching senior ELA include instructing many students who have gone on to be successful citizens in all occupations or careers. Teaching the same subject matter for 34 years was never boring. Each grade and grouping of students made her experience interesting and memorable. She thanks the students, parents, and the community for their support while teaching at Carpenter High. For retirement, she hopes to travel, to learn new things, to pursue hobbies, and to visit family.
Dear Marika, I've worked with you for over 20 years, and for all of those years, I have thought of you as my role model. You're one of the most hardworking and dedicated teachers that I know of. You always expect the best from your students and never settle for less. Your passion for your subject, and also for quilting, your attention to detail, whether it's sentence structure or grad ceremonies, and the hundreds of hours that you've put into extra cur did not go unnoticed. I just want to say that you've touched the lives of many staff and students, and you will not be forgotten. One more thing, please stay. But may you enjoy your garden, quilting, travel, and your hot tub, and I'll see you on the subside.
Noella was raised in Peerless, Saskatchewan, and attended Goodsall Central School. She chose to be a stay-at-home mom until her children were young adults. Noella began her career as an educational assistant in 2001 at Dorntosh Central School, joining the staff at Ernie Suter School in Loon Lake in November that same year. This is where she spent the remainder of her working career. Noella thoroughly enjoyed working for the Northwest School Division, spending time in all classrooms ranging from kindergarten to grade 12 at one time or another. Cross-country running was the extracurricular activity she was mostly involved with, co-coaching with Tanya Connor, Lindsay Dolan, and Stephanie Pompu. This was always one of her favorite times of the year. Noella and her husband Milton will celebrate their 40th wedding anniversary this year, and they both look forward to spending more COVID-free time with their children and grandchildren.
Noella Drumheller started her career as an educational assistant in 1999. She spent 21 years patiently sharing her love of learning with staff and students of Ernie Suter School.
Noella devoted countless hours to coaching cross-country running, track, soccer, volleyball, crafting, and cooking. The lessons she shared will continue on with the next generation and all of us who've had the honor of working with her.
Congratulations, Noella, on your retirement. Please enjoy.
Where to begin? Mladen is from all over the place. He was born in Croatia and came to Toronto as an immigrant with his parents in 1962 at 4 years old. In his 64 years of dancing on this planet, Mladen lived in Toronto in the 60s, Croatia in the early 70s, London, Ontario in the late 70s, then Calgary in the early 80s, where he got his Bachelor of Education and also met the love of his life, Patty Formanek. Mladen and Patty moved to Turtleford in 1986, and that's where their teaching careers began. They have 2 daughters, Carmen and Tess, and they both live in Saskatoon. Patty also taught with Northwest School Division, and she retired 3 years ago. In 1988, Mladen took on a teaching job at Thunderchild School, where he taught for 12 years. After that stint, he moved to Glasgow Central School for 14 years. He has been at the Turtleford Transition School for the past 8. His most memorable times as a teacher have been coaching students in drama and watching them perform in regional and provincial drama festivals, which he's really missed these past 2 years. In retirement, Mladen is looking forward to spending more time with his 2 daughters and grandchildren in Saskatoon.
You know, back in 1962 when Mladen was just 4 years old, he and his mother walked 9 kilometers across the rugged top of what was then communist Yugoslavia, escaping into Italy, and eventually they immigrated to Canada. Now Mladen, it's 60 years later, and after a long and successful teaching career, you're retiring. I've always admired the way you savor the good things in life, so I know you'll use your retirement to fully explore the same passions you've always had. Congratulations, Mladen, on behalf of everyone. We're really glad that that little Croatian boy made that trek so many years ago. Good luck. You deserve nothing but the best, my friend. Happy trails.
Shelley was born in Maple Creek and eventually moved to Porcupine Plain, where she graduated from high school. She received her Bachelor of Education in 1991 from the University of Saskatchewan. Her first position was at Livelong School for 2 years, teaching grades 1 and 2. Then she moved to Turtleford School, where she taught grade 2 for years and finished her career teaching grade 1. A highlight for Shelley has always been the students. She is now teaching the children of students she had previously taught. One of her fondest memories is the time she spent living and teaching in Livelong as a first-year teacher. The school was small, the students were great. The community was welcoming, accepting, and so easy to become involved in everything. After retirement, she and her husband Scott are planning on traveling in the winter months and helping to transition their son Dustin into eventually farming full-time. Their daughter Madison will be starting med school in Regina, so there will be many trips there as well. Shelley also plans on substitute teaching and looks forward to still seeing the students and staff in Turtleford, who she will miss terribly, as well as meeting new students and staff members in other schools.
Hi Shelley, just some friends here sending you off on your next adventure. Teaching life brought you here from Livelong. With that, you arrived in style and with your fashion and funky hairdo.
Thank you for your guidance in the area of mindfulness. You will be able to use this a lot in your retirement.
Calm evening walks, kayaking down winding rivers, and jetting off to new traveling adventures, and enjoying a fine glass of wine on a tropical beach or on your deck watching the sunset.
Cheers to health and happiness, Shelley.
Carol was born in Big River, Saskatchewan, and lived in various places across Western Canada throughout her childhood. Her family returned to Big River for her final 2 years of high school. Carol had an amazing teacher in grade 3, and it was then that she decided to become a teacher. She convocated in 1990 from the University of Saskatchewan and began her career in January of 1990 in Big River. Carol taught in a number of places across Saskatchewan, went overseas to Japan and South Korea, and then returned to Saskatchewan in 1998. She had her daughter Layla in March 2000 and became principal of Dorntosh Central School in January 2000. They moved into Meadow Lake in September 2003, where Carol worked at Gateway School as a literacy and classroom teacher for the last 18 years. She has enjoyed her teaching career immensely and is planning to enjoy her retirement just as much.
It is my honor to give a toast to Carol Mitchell. She spent the majority of her career facilitating the Reading Achievement Program at Gateway Middle School. Carol is now working as a literacy coordinator in Prince Albert. Her new position allows her to travel and see that beautiful northern scenery that she loves so much. The staff and students at Gateway Middle School will miss you, especially your leadership around reading instruction. We hope you are spending lots of time with Layla and Nikki, and we hope you come back to visit. Good luck on your new adventure.
Patricia got her bus license way back in the day because they had the age-old problem of no spare drivers. They were Battle River School Division. Later, one of the regular drivers turned 65, and there was a mandatory retirement policy, so she took over that route. Patricia drove a 48-passenger bus, and upon retirement, she was driving a 72-passenger. She really enjoyed driving the bus. Patricia always figured if she could make one child have a good day by greeting them pleasantly in the morning and wishing them a good evening when they got off in the afternoon, then she succeeded in her job. Patricia is sparing now and has enjoyed seeing different country.
I am honored to have been asked to do this toast for Trish Olin. Trish has been a tireless bus driver for as long as I have been a teacher here at Hillmond. Trish, you are an amazing bus driver, unflappable in times of stress, even when you hit the ditch in a snowstorm, patient and not willing to back down. You treat your bus kids like your own, giving them a hug when they need it, and being the tough guy when they don't want it. You will be missed, but I hope that you can spend some time to enjoy your lanai, travel some more, spend some time with family and all your flowers. To Trish.
Alice was raised in Neilburg, Saskatchewan, where she attended all but 1 year of her education. After graduation, Alice got married and moved to Marshall, Saskatchewan. Alice and her husband have 2 boys and 3 grandchildren, as well as 2 more that call her grandma, and they are all special. Alice started driving bus in 2003, and over the 18 years she has had lots of great experiences. She has kept notes that the little ones gave her, spelling mistakes and all. One day she was told how to castrate calves by a grade 1er, as well as many other tales that she'll remember forever. In retirement, Alice plans on concentrating on her business. She and her husband own Berryview Farms, a Saskatoon orchard, where they have a U-pick as well as make jams, jelly, syrups, and other products. Being so busy last year with Shop Local led her to decide that it was time to retire. Alice will miss driving her regular route, but will be doing some spare driving, so she'll still get to see the kids.
Alice, we are over the moon excited for you on your retirement. We know the kids will miss seeing your smiling face in the morning and the afternoons, as you will miss seeing theirs. We know you're definitely not going to be bored. You'll be busy with family and grandkids, friends, the farmers market, Berryview Farms, so we know that'll keep you very busy. But I know hopefully you'll have time for tea and wine dates with friends. Congratulations, love ya.
Brenda was born at Turtleford and raised on a dairy farm in the Daysville district east of Mervyn, Saskatchewan. Her schooling was split between Mervyn and Turtleford. The rest of her education came from the School of Life. Brenda started her career with the Turtleford School Division in 1988 when she became a school bus driver. She subbed for several years and got her first route in 1993 in the Edam area. At one point, she knew where almost every farm kid lived. Brenda started to sub as an educational assistant in 2001 and eventually became full-time. A highlight for Brenda was when she was told that a certain student credited her with their graduating. Brenda married John Pollard Jr. in 1982 and moved to Edam. They raised 3 daughters and now have 2 granddaughters and 6 grandsons. She enjoys watching their sports and their annual camping trip. In retirement, Brenda plans to do more knitting, photography, and reading, as well as working from home.
Hi, I'd like to take this time to recognize the efforts and contributions of Brenda Pollard as she moves on to her retirement. Brenda was a bus driver and an EA in our school, Hardcastle School, for 27 years. And in that time, she was one of the positive constants for our students and staff to see and work with. Brenda's passion and care for our students here was one of the reasons why they were so successful as they moved on. I was fortunate enough to have had the chance to work alongside Brenda, and I was always amazed at the connections that she was able to develop with the young people in our building. Brenda, you are a valued colleague and you have been missed with your involvement here. Congratulations on the career that you've had here at Hardcastle School, and I would personally like to wish you all the best as you move on to the next part of your life.
Robert grew up in Meadow Lake. After graduating from high school, he drove school bus for his family in the Neeb area. He also worked as a mechanic at Northland Chrysler. Robert lives on a farm east of Makwa, Saskatchewan, where he has farmed for 20 years and also worked at the Meadow Lake Stockyards. After retiring from farming, he worked as a carpenter for 10 years. Robert started driving school bus for Northwest School Division over 10 years ago, retiring in August 2021. One memorable experience was taking his granddaughter on the bus. She wanted to see where she would be going to school and the kids getting on the school bus. About halfway there, she fell asleep and missed the whole thing. Needless to say, she had to make another trip to see everything. Robert is enjoying his retirement. He still has lots of work on the farm in the summer, keeping the yard in shape, and cutting, splitting, and stacking wood for heat in the winter. But it's nice to have time to do things. He still likes woodworking and building. He would like to do some traveling, camping, and fishing. Pam grew up in Nipawin, Saskatchewan, and then attended the University of Saskatchewan. Early in her career, she taught in Quill Lake, Marshall, Purdue, Dalmeny, and Saskatoon. In 2002, her family moved to Edam, with both her and her husband employed by the Turtleford School Division. They had no idea that they would lose him to cancer less than a year later. Pam decided to stay in Edam for one more year, as moving again with 3 young children and a puppy was overwhelming. That 1 year very quickly turned into 20. Pam has taught grade 1 to grade 12 in Edam. This past year has been one of great changes for Pam. She became a grandmother twice over and accepted a marriage proposal. Pam and her fiancé are getting married in June, and she will be moving to Melfort. She plans to be a very busy grandma and will also be having fun with her jewelry business and possibly do a little subbing. She has had a long and rewarding career.
To Mom, also known as Mrs. Gordon, congratulations on your retirement. You have touched so many lives since you began your career 38 years ago. The thousands of hours spent with students in various extracurricular activities, not to mention the endless hours spent marking and preparing lessons, has not gone unnoticed. Your students will miss you immensely, but you are so deserving of this retirement. Your children and grandchildren cannot wait to enjoy this next chapter of your life with you. Congratulations, Mom. Cheers.
Amanda grew up in Lumsden, Saskatchewan, and attended the University of Regina, where she convocated in 1993 with a Bachelor of Education. She began her teaching career at St. Walburg School, where she taught for 23 years. Initially teaching physical education, but then branching out to everything from kindergarten PE to biology 30 and history 30. Amanda dedicated many hours to coaching in her career, including senior and junior girls volleyball, curling, badminton, and track and field. Her favorite memory was winning silver at the 1994 3A Girls Volleyball Championship. That particular team still holds a special place in her heart. In 2016, she took on a new role in our division as a learning coach, where she had the opportunity to work in many schools with a number of teachers. She worked with a great team of learning coaches. Amanda officially retired in November 2021 and has spent the last 6 months in Mexico, where she and her husband plan to enjoy many winters at their beautiful casa, returning to Canada for more outdoor adventures in the much warmer summer months.
Hey Amanda, it's my privilege to honor you with a very brief toast to celebrate and recognize your years of service to the Turtleford and Northwest School Division. You've had a taste of retirement. And what better place to do it than in Mexico, especially after the winter that we've had here. But knowing you, there's probably lots about education that you still miss. I miss your passion and your enthusiasm and your general joie de vivre. I relish the many conversations and all of the laughter that we have shared over the years. You took up the challenge of teaching and coaching and mentoring. and you've done it well for many years. Now, it's your time to sit back and watch the seeds that you have planted grow and flourish. Not really. Sit back and enjoy life. All the best to you. Cheers.
Rick was born, raised in Turtleford, Saskatchewan, graduated from Turtleford High School, and continues to live in Turtleford. He married his wife Cheryl in 1976, and they have a daughter, Christy, and a son, Derek, plus 2 granddaughters. Rick started work as caretaker of Turtleford School in the spring of 1998. He was there for 12 years and enjoyed going to work nearly every day. Then, in 2010, an opportunity came up and he was hired as facilities coordinator for the Northwest School Division, where he remained until retiring this past December. During all those years, Rick met a truly remarkable group of people. It was actually fun going to work every day. He hopes he made some of those people smile because they certainly gave him memories that will last forever.
Rick Starnes, so old friend, this is the end of the line. What more can be said about a guy who listened feverishly to dead artists of the 1950s, thinks Elvis is still alive, and managed to, by his own hand, destroy his cell phone in the parking lot at the co-op. The first person I ever encountered when I was hired in Turtleford was Rick Starnes. The first thing he told me was a joke. You know it is your time to retire when you start recycling the jokes. It's all right, Rick. I kept laughing anyway to humor you. Seriously, Rick, it has been a real blast working with you these past 20 years. Your infectious optimism, penchant for telling a risque joke at the worst possible time in the worst possible circumstances, and the kindness towards all people will be etched into the memories of those who have worked here forever. Thank you, good luck, the very best in your retirement. Bon voyage.
Jerry grew up in the small community of Kipling, Saskatchewan, located in the southeastern part of the province. After he graduated from high school, he attended the University of Regina and received his Bachelor of Education degree in 1985. Upon graduation, Jerry received his first teaching position in the East End School Division, where he taught for 2 years. In 1988, Jerry accepted a position at Jonah Sampson Junior High School in Meadow Lake and taught an assortment of physical education and health classes, as well as junior high mathematics. In 2000, he transferred to Carpenter High School, where he taught various classes of mathematics. Jerry enjoys sports, and it was coaching student athletes where he has many fond memories. Road trips with the athletes and socializing with community members will always be dear to him. Jerry was also very active officiating numerous sports. Jerry and his wife Helen plan on retiring in Saskatoon and look forward to traveling and creating new memories and adventures.
On behalf of the Northwest School Division and the staff, students, and parents of Carpenter High School, we raise a glass and we say congratulations to Jerry on his retirement. All the best in the future. You worked really hard to get to this moment. Love it. I know you and your wife are going to have a great time. All the best. Cheers.
Retirees, you may or may not ever know the influence that you've had in a student's life. Whether it was your responsibility to get them to school or other special events, engaging them in their learning, being a listening ear whenever they needed someone to talk to, or physically and mentally challenging them to be the best versions of themselves. You have become, as Teresa Thayer Snyder said, an essential connection between what is and what can be. Your legacy will continue as those you influenced will influence those around them for generations to come. From the Board of Education, we truly appreciate how much you gave of yourselves to those that were in your care. We wish you all a wonderful retirement, enjoying whatever it is retirement means to you.